as you were speaking and talking about avatars and people dying and being replaced by avatars or whatever, a thought occurred. AI is sufficiently progressed to the point where any one of us could be replaced by a bot, and I doubt any of our online personas would suffer. I'm sure that somebody could create a bot that would randomly post GIFs and Bandcamp links, and none of my friends would realize that I was gone. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Absolutely, man. 100%. I also, part of the real unfortunate real world stuff that plays into this band is that I make a living working at startups, and I have for a while worked around AI and bots, and that definitely plays into the influence of this band and exactly what you said. It's just like, what, and sometimes I wonder, it's like, what am I making? What is this stuff? Where does it go? Like right now it's kind of innocent and stupid, but every day it just gets like weirder, and just stranger, and I wouldn't even say scarier because it's not yet scary, but to your point, like somebody could shitpost just as good, like a bot could probably come up with this expander lyrics in about 3 years, like give or take, I bet. Probably write this whole record for us. I mean, surely, and that's even kind of what, I mean, the music itself is somewhat trying to be turned into by people. If you even see like the guy that runs Spotify and the shit he talks about online, and they just want to make everything like chill jams to like study to that are made by robots, and they just make money off of it. It's all fucked up, man.
I mean, the facial recognition technology that prevents your phone from getting stolen is being used by totalitarian regimes to crack down on pro-democracy protesters. You know what I mean? We can't say that the technology is bad because the technology was just a technology. I'm sure the people who came up with it had the best intentions for it, but in the wrong hand, anything can be used against us.
Yeah, we, like, humans also are responsible for the technology, and we build into it all of our like biases and all of our like flaws into these systems too. It's like why people are so upset about like facial recognition technology, because it's like racist and weird, and people have like they built it to be these things, and it's not. Yeah, it's like you can't have this like human agnostic technology that just is perfect. It's always like flawed because we're fucked up creatures, animals.
Yeah, and not to mention all the like weapons of war and militaristic things about technology. Just you can have some dehumanized individual sitting at in his office chair launching strikes via proxy robotics and whatnot. It's pretty grim.
Tell me about the authority spires. What are the authority spires?
Kind of just this overarching control system. They were built technically by extraplanar overlords, and they were hacked by humans and controlled, and so that they're basically like entry points into war terminals where humans can take their avatars and do different sorts of like hacking into these oppressors, like technological like mainframes, but also do battle with them, etc. But they're kind of just this overarching like oppressing structures that exist in this futuristic world that I guess we've built.
On August 21st, you'll be releasing your second album, Neuropunk Booster Gang. Tell me a little bit about the writing of this album.
Wow. We worked really hard on this one. I think we've been writing this record for it took us 3 years. And I think we came home from recording the last record and immediately started writing this one, if not already having something going with it. I mean, with a break. But yeah, I think it was, as working people, and touring becoming I mean, it's hard to do. How it's impossible to make a living as a musician, or not even making a living. I don't even know what that means, but like not just like going into debt doing it. Yeah, it's just we had to stay focused on just writing our music, and we play shows around Texas, and we were just kind of like that was our grind because we didn't really have the opportunity or the means to really get out there and tour because we have to work, and it's not that easy. I mean, it's as younger people we definitely toured more and got out and did that, but you realize like how easy it is to lose your ass on the road. But back to writing this record, yeah, we put all our chips into just working and maintaining a really rigid practice schedule, which I think made all the difference. It's like we practice like 2-3 times a week in the evenings, and really just grind, and more whenever applicable, but just to grind out these songs and hammer it a zillion times. What else do we have to say about writing this stuff?
Previous album, I think, well, I'll just say what I think. You know, what we think is always so different sometimes to what the listeners get. But we didn't really have any set goals, but the way it came out, I think, how it stacks up against Endless Computer, I mean, I think it's even faster. Sometimes, I mean, actually, we were laughing the other day because whenever Crypto Steel, the song, the third single dropped, so goofy, my bad, y'all.
I like it, dude. Let's drop some shit.
Anyways, we were texting with each other, and Guzzler was like, said he had just gotten up and like put on a pot of coffee and was like hosing it, you know, and threw on the track to listen because it had just been released, and he thought that Profound Lore had put up a 1.5 speed version of the song because he didn't remember it being that fast. So the songs are the fastest they've ever been. I don't know if this means anything to anybody, but I think some of them are like 160, 170, 180 BPM. So there's your thrash right there. They're definitely fast. The music's not that complex, I don't think. Like, there are some songs that only have like 4 riffs, but the way we write with Keymaster, he's very good about juicing the riffs in so many different ways, half times, double times, snapping into shit fast, breaking things down, that you know, we can get a whole meaty song out of 4 or 5 riffs, and I think it stays interesting the whole times. And something also that maybe encourage in the band, I don't know, or maybe it just naturally happens, but really like bands, extreme bands that can still have hooks in their songs. So I think the album is actually quite hooky in the sense that, you know, riffs come back, vocal parts and lyrics come back, and even though they might be played a little bit differently, I think it's still like this earworm quality that might burrow into the listener and make it a catchy listen and an enjoyable listen and something that people want to come back to. I mean, because that's what I like in extreme music. And I find too often that I'm sitting at the computer like checking out new releases, and I've listened to like 20 minutes of a record and I can't remember a goddamn thing about it. So I think that's an important aspect of writing for our band.
Yeah, I will add that we were ambitious as hell for Endless Computer, and I don't think we got to fully do everything that we had hoped to do with it. I mean, I don't even know what that means, but I know for Neuropunk Booster Gang, we really wanted to add in stuff like electronics and some different effects and textures, like more in the songs rather than just like as a outro or intro type thing. And we were able to definitely incorporate some of our own original electronics in these songs compared to the last one. But it's funny because we're just like dumb rock musicians, metal musicians, whatever. We play like guitars and drums and stuff, so we're not like pro EDM, you know, like all this like sick, I don't know how to program anything. So like I feel like a caveman, like with like my synthesizer thing. And I mean, Guzzler's he's got a bit more going on with that, but it's just funny. We're trying to make something out of that too. But originality was the key. So it's got to be ours and doing it. But we knew we wanted to have some kind of electronics that came from us. And our approach is probably pretty, I don't know, like vulgar compared to what some might consider like modern electronic stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. The electronics are definitely a new element, and there's not a whole lot on the album, but just enough that I think kind of really ties in that cyberpunk aesthetic a little bit more than Endless Computer. And like Keymaster said, they're not like some professional like techno cuts. It's more like something you'd hear in the background of like whatever's 1980s Sega Genesis Terminator game existed or something.
I got to like I got to go home after the recording. Well, we already had some stuff like already programmed that kind of kicks off some songs and some other stuff that we had brought, but then I was able to like take our finished songs and then listen to them and add in a couple things that I wish we had been able to do that in Endless, and we got to do that this time, and to just accent a couple parts. It's really cool, I think.
Do your songs typically start with the riffs?
100%. Yeah, they have to. We basically, General AM keeps this like catalog of everybody's riffs somehow, like all online and like offline in his brain. Like we'll have basically a folder of videos and the crappiest demo, like just whatever recording can be captured of ideas. And yeah, it's just that was just back to the writing grind of bringing that stuff to every practice every day and just trying to like see, if something starts to inspire like one day a riff might inspire like other riffs, or just trying to, pull some stuff together and make some transitions and see what kind of works together. But absolutely at the core, it has to start from that.